About to get on with a client to see why they're not getting any video in their EVMux streaming program. So I'm using Splashtop Streamer to log into their computer so I can take a look and see what's going on. Okay, so I see that they have it up here, but they said not getting any video. Let me make sure that the cameras are working the way that it should. Okay, I'm not seeing anything there. So I'm gonna go and try to log into the camera and reboot it. Right now I'm scanning for the camera. That's it. So there's the camera. The camera's there. And it's working. To be on the safe side, I'm gonna go ahead and reboot it. Let me send them a message and let them know that I'm looking at it. Okay, so I know that's working because I see it on the screens. So I just asked them to log back into EVMux so I can see what's going on there. Okay, so I went there and I just had to choose the USB camera. So they should be good now. Okay, we got that taken care of. Okay, so I'm back here and I'm gonna start getting things together for our service. So first of all, I'm off camera now, but I need to jump over to the other computer and make sure that we have screen capture going and that I have enabled KVM. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to that computer. Then I'm going to log in to Chrome Remote Desktop on this computer that is using the church's profile to get to the stream computer. So this is one way that you can actually go in and access your computer remotely. So I'm going to go to CUC Stream. That's the computer that I'm going to be looking at. Okay, so now I'm here on the desktop of that computer. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we're connected to all of our programs. I see that the X32 program is open, but I don't see that we're connected. So that means that they don't have the mixer turned on as of yet. Okay, so I use a hybrid setting where I take OBS and send that into EVMux from the church computer, and then I can control what's going on in EVMux from a computer on my side. So now here I am in OBS, and I see that I do have the cameras. I see that by the listing of the camera, this is the zoom podium camera. This is the tight shot on the podium. This is a medium podium shot. And I should also be able to bring up a PTZ camera. Right now, the PTZ is not working exactly the way I want it. So I can use the manual controls over here on the right to get into it. But I can't at this time use the presets like I normally would. And also the zoom in and out function is not working, and I'll work on that later. So I have that going. I'm gonna go ahead and start virtual camera within OBS. So that sets it up so that the camera feed will go over into EVMux on the church computer side. So I'm gonna go back to EVMux, and here I see the camera image in here, and it's asking if I want to log in. I want to make sure that I have on my list that it's Christians United Church, because I have a various different sessions that I have set up, and I want to make sure that we're on the correct session. So log in. I can join the broadcast. So that's going. So what I'm also going to do in another window, I can go ahead and show that here. In another window, I'm going to log into EVMux. So I'm going to go here to Ministry Tech, EVMux, sign in. Make sure I switch over to the correct profile in EVMux. So I'm going to go to D&K Audio and Tech. Then I'm going to go into Christians United Church. Go into the studio there. Okay, so from my side, I don't want the microphone on, and I don't want a camera on, because again, everything is going to be coming from the church. So from here, I can go ahead and enter the studio. And based on the order I did everything, when I get in here, at the bottom, I should see myself. And then I should see Christians United Church. So this is the feed coming from the church that is in here. So I have all my scenes set up. I have my main scene. I have another scene that is zoomed in a little bit closer on that, so it gives me some flexibility and allows me to do what I need to do from this setting. So what I want to do first is come up to where it says dynamic scene, okay, and I have the image for the Sunday service, so that's showing there. If I will jump back over to the church's computer, I can see that we do have the thumbnail for Sunday service up there. So that shows me that we are connected as we should be. Okay, so that's taken care of. So really, I can go ahead and minimize and get this out of the way. Okay, so we're back over here in EVMux, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch this over to studio mode because that's how I normally use it, because I can have my live mode here on the right, and then I can have my preview on the left. So in preview, I'm gonna go ahead and put main so I can see the camera. If I want to change my shot from the church's computer, so here in the church's computer, I have all my presets here, and I have one called CUC wide, so I can see a good shot of the sanctuary. I'll put that in preview, and then I'll transition that over. When it gets closer to time, I'll go to a tighter shot. But like I said, right now I want to see exactly what's going on as much as I can on the stage in the sanctuary. Okay, so we're looking good there. So now we're just waiting, and the time now is 9:23, and actually at 9:24, I'm gonna go ahead and go live. So to be ready for that, I'm gonna bring up my virtual stream deck. I'm gonna get my CUC virtual stream deck and put that on top of that window on my EVMux. Okay, so what this does, it allows me to change my scene. So like if I wanted to go to the main shot, I just need to make sure I have this window selected, and I can click main, and it's going to switch over to that camera. Or I can click medium, and it'll switch to that camera, to that shot. So the camera at the church is really staying where it is, but I'm just changing the view of it within EVMux. Okay, so I have one that will show the QR code for ways to give. Okay, so I can go back here. Now, the shot that I usually start with is this intro with countdown. So I'll select that. And right now, with the time being 9:24, it's time for me to go live. So I'm going to go ahead and click on go live. Okay, here I can select my starting scene, and I'm going to do intro with countdown. Then when I click my go live button down here, it's going to start with that scene, and it's starting the live stream for me now. So all of the initial stuff has started. So we're actually live on YouTube now. And so let's go ahead and switch so we can see that. Let me bring my YouTube session up over here. So right now this is showing me what's going on the church computer. Where's my controls? Okay, so now we see our live stream over on YouTube. So we are live. So I can go ahead and click the like button to add a like. And then let me show you the interaction that I do with the live stream audience. If I minimize this and I come back to my EVMux, I can come over to comments, and all the comments that I previously put into YouTube show up here. So I can click on my first comment and say show, and here it adds that comment to the bottom of the screen so the viewers can see that comment. The way I have it configured, it'll stay on the screen for 10 seconds and then it'll go away. And now on my side, I can hear them testing the microphones. So that's getting that ready to go. So this is, kind of an effort that people have to work together to make sure that everything goes off the way that it should. Okay, so we see here we have about 2 minutes left on our countdown. I just sent another chat message to the screen. I'm gonna send another one now. And so like we can use this to help welcome people to the stream. We also can send any information that we need to send to them. We can let them know about upcoming services and meetings. So this is a good way to communicate with everyone. So we use this as a starting point, as a buffer before we actually go live. Again, we wanted to do more than just have just the countdown. We want to have something that was going to engage the people as we went along. So you're not going to be able to see it, but you're going to be able to see it, the camera change on the left hand side, on the editor side. I'm going back over to the church's session, and I'm going to change the camera shot to one that is for our Sunday school service. Okay, so I just put it into preview, and now I'm transitioning it over. So that's a tighter shot on the podium where they're going to be starting service. So when this timer here finishes in just a few minutes, it's going to go ahead and transition over so that we then see the live video camera in the church. So we have 10 seconds and then it's going to switch over. So the time now is 9:31. They're running a little bit behind, but they are getting everything in place. So while they're doing that, I'm going to do a little housekeeping on the church computer side so I can see this here. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the computer that's bringing in the church's OBS and EVMux. So I'm here and I can see the exact same thing that they're seeing there. One thing I'm going to look at is my settings for my X32 soundboard. Now I see an IP address up here that tells me that we're connected, so that any changes that I make here will be made if I'm selecting main, left, and right. I will be controlling the audio in the house. If I come down to video, then I'm just controlling the audio that's going to my live stream. So I just wanted to verify that we had everything there set the way that it should. If I wanted, I could bring up the ATEM Mini software and control, some of the aspects going into that. But I think I have everything set the way that I should. I do want to jump back over to EVMux for a second, and I want to verify my settings here. I know that I have my OBS virtual camera as the camera input. Audio is line in from Behringer X USB. So that tells me I'm getting the audio directly from the board the way that we should. Okay, so I got that out of the way, so I can go ahead and actually minimize this EVMux window because everything is running the way it should. Any changes that I make on the church's side is going to be here in OBS. Okay, so from the church's side, the changes are going to be made in OBS. On my control side, all of my changes are going to take place in EVMux. So we have that set and ready to go. One thing I can do, so like right now, there's not much going on. We do have our lower thirds going back and forth, and I am on the main scene, which is the most zoomed out scene. I see here that my scene is actually off, so I want to slide it back in place. And really, to keep that from happening again, I need to come down. I need to find that and lock it in place so that So yeah, we don't have that issue again. So I come here. So they're getting ready to get started. So I'm gonna go to that and I'm gonna click on the lock. So that won't allow it to move. So I'm gonna go ahead and transition that back into place. And I could see it just move a little bit and put it back to where it should be. So you do have to look at things because it's very detailed what we're doing here. Now, one thing that I like to do, I'm going to go ahead and bring my dock back up. This Stream Deck virtual, this virtual Stream Deck has been very helpful in allowing us to automate some things. So one thing that I do is I have four scenes that rotate on and off, and they're different zoom levels, and we have different compositions as far as the lower thirds go. So I just call it rotation. So I can come up here to this button that says rotation, and I can click on that. Good morning, Sunday school. And it's going to switch over to our rotation screen, and it'll go through there. And if I want, I can adjust the composition. So if I go to rotation one, and I say, okay, I think this is panned up a little bit too much for me. I can come here and I can come up here and change that. So I can come and click on that. I'll come down to Christians United, and like I did before, I locked it so it can't be accidentally moved. I can unlock it, and then it will allow me to shift it up some. Okay. I want to go back and lock it again so it can't be moved accidentally. Then I'm gonna go ahead and transition it. And it's very slight, but you can notice that on the right side that the camera did shift up a little bit and get me a better framing. Okay, so we're up and running. Everything is going well so far in EVMux, sending out to YouTube and to Facebook. And one thing that is very important is that you go in and monitor it. You want to look and see it on Facebook. You want to listen to the audio, make sure that everything's right. Because one thing to keep in mind, and I tell people this all the time, clicking that go live button is not going to fix anything if you haven't set it correctly to start with. So we want to make sure that we start at our base level, make sure that everything is in place. We have audio, we have video, we're ready to go, and that'll help you have more of a successful service. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and set up a couple of the other elements that I usually have during service. Then I'm going to bring up another Stream Deck virtual window. And here, this is my main control that I use for just about everything that I do. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on my home button to get me back to the beginning portion. And one program that I'm gonna open up is gonna be Bible Show, and that allows me to put scriptures on the screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up Bible Show. So I have the Bible Show open. It's over on another screen right now. So right now in our service, they're moving to their classes. So what I would do in that moment is to actually show you what's going on here. I will actually go and switch over to that wider shot because they're not focused on that podium anymore. So I do have a camera shot set that is Sunday school left. Okay, so I can go to that if I want to. I also have my PTZ camera. And like I said, with my PTZ camera, I can use manual controls to point that camera to the area that they're going to be in. And so I get in that general area. I might come down a little bit so I can show them. And then once they get everything set up, I can make some, more precise moves to get everything framed the way that I want it to be. So as much as this needs planning and cooperation, sometimes it's about observing and adapting to whatever the situation is. So in that respect, you do really have to be flexible about how you approach things. So they're bringing the mic over. So while they're doing some of these movements, I don't necessarily want to have a close shot, but I am going to zoom in closer once they get ready to start the actual lesson. So now she's stepping to the podium. When she steps behind the podium, I will transition over to the closer shot. So of course, what we're seeing here is the live was actually taking place at this moment in the sanctuary. You know, what you would have in YouTube is going to be a little bit delayed. So here we go. We're going to transition over. And of course, not everything is going to be precise. So again, we have to, you know, we have to take things with a grain of salt. Like I said, not everything is going to be precise. So we have to understand that sometimes things are going to be off a little bit, and we can flow with it. Okay, and so while we're doing this, I want to go ahead and move this out of the way and look back at EVMux. I'm going to show that. Oh, we're on the wrong computer. That's why. So one thing I wanted to see is if was I just showing the main screen or if it's in the rotation. This tells me that it is on the rotation. This is rotation screen 4. And I can see that because over here it's in red. So what's going to happen, there's a timer behind that. And after that timer has been exhausted, then it's going to switch back over to rotation 1. That timer will go, then it'll go to rotation 2, 3, 4, and then back to 1. So this really kind of gives the illusion that we're switching cameras and we're switching composition of the picture, but we're not actually. We have a set number of screens that we have the camera setting and the composition the way that we want it to be, and we are switching back and forth between that. And again, that is done so that you give a variety of different shots to the viewers. So in this case, even though we are running with one camera, we give the illusion that we have multiple cameras, and it really does kind of the the production. So while we're doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and set up some of the other things that I would be using during service. And just like I said before, we started the Bible Show software up, and we're gonna be utilizing NDI screen capture, well, NDI Studio Monitor, to allow us to view that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to go back to Studio Monitor, and previously I was using this to show you what we would do on our live stream from the church. So I'm gonna change the input on this. So I'm gonna click on this. Okay, so here I took that window and made it smaller so I can come back to the control, and I'm gonna switch it, and I'm gonna look at HP desk left, and then I'm gonna look at Bible Show NDI2. So it's going to bring in the input from that. So in my Bible Show program, if I come and select a scripture, a chapter, a verse, and then say show, that will show up in my NDI Studio Monitor. Okay, so again, we're going to use that to bring into EVMux so we can show our scripture. Okay, now one thing that I normally do is take this and I will dock it on my left monitor, my control monitor. And then once I do that, I'll go through a sequence, and I'll show this to you right now. Well, I'll right click on the screen, go to settings, and then go to output, and then click on this option here near the bottom that says hide Windows border. So when I do that, it makes it within that box, it makes it full screen, and there's no border at the top. Now, one thing about that, once you get into place, that's kind of locked in and you can't really move it. So to be able to move it, I go back in, settings, output, hide Windows border. Then I can grab the top of this and move it where I need to move it. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and move it to my other screen. And I'm going to lock it in a position at the top right hand corner of the screen. And then I'm going to do what I just showed you. I'm going to right click, settings, output, hide Windows border. Okay, so what that does for me is that then I can add this to my live stream in EVMux. And the way that I would do that is to use the option here to share screen. Okay, within EVMux you have an option to share screen, and you can share different content from your computer into your EVMux session. Okay, so I'm going to click on share screen, and then it's going to bring up and let me choose what content I want to share in EVMux. I want to come over to Window, and I see a bunch of things on here. I can see each of my Stream Deck, my virtual Stream Decks. I could add either one of those in, and then I can come down and I see one that says NDI HP desk left. So that is what I just showed you. It's the scripture coming from NDI. So I can click on that and click share. So let's see what happened, because I did. Okay, we're gonna click on share screen, window. We're gonna click NDI, and then we're gonna click share. Okay, so when we do that, that adds another screen down here at the bottom, which is the image from that Bible show program. Okay, so what that does for me, if I scroll over here to my left and I find the scene that is called Scripture, and I'm gonna bring it into my preview, it shows me the scripture and the live video. So once we get to that point, I can switch to that and it can show the scripture, and we can track through it as the pastor reads. And so in Bible Show, when I click to the next verse, it changes, and it also changes over here on our screen in EVMux. So we can go through that, and it's gonna make that really work well for us. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back to my main in my preview. So we have all that set up ready to go. So basically everything that we need to show here, we have it ready to go, and we can keep on. So I'm gonna come back a little bit later as we get further into the service and show you some other features, and then show you what we do to end our service.